So this is the place I'm stemming from. This is important. I have another remembrance, I must say. It is quadrupled in my remembrance, so they might have changed this, but the church is still there. Yeah, so this is here, 27333. Formerly it was another one, 2812. No, 2811. It was alluded to by Sophia on the Anger in Erfurt, which was possible. I did not tell the chief of hers, this health center guy, where I was stemming from, I think. But I did a short research seeing whether my parents' home and the place I grew up was still there when I was in the homelessness care center. Many months before a murder attempt was done. So indeed, it is very, very old. Yeah. You see there, 882. The church is here. It is close by Bremen, 50 kilometers southeast, and this is the church. Formerly, if one wills, my church. So don't abuse it, don't make it Catholic, because now it is Protestant. Yeah, I indeed was close by. It could have been known, I must say. It was upon a lacking information on but 2 websites. So people know it because I wrote already an email. And former porno stars really trying to make themselves jurists all of a sudden. Formerly having lived in Munich, in that very place, church-like, I already filed with the Munich police. Lucille-Gran-Straße. I've forgotten the house number. They have the letters. So they are indeed changing identities, and this is not for a fun that RTL is presenting, but it is for covering up severe crimes. I must say, when I was in Munich, 2015 or 16, and then the Lebensgefährtin of my brothers had not yet invented established a kind of program that would that was really able to divert me from everything. And all of a sudden I had the idea to apply with German security authorities. Having lost everything, I did that. I did this very good text, usable as a template, thought of to be used only by myself. They have it. So, what did I want to say? Yeah, the first 2, or I think it was the first 2 visits, I would only I would sit in a bus and just drive, and think, what has my life become? Yeah, a mess. So I was driving into, I think it was but one direction in Munich, and I did have the impression that the place was emptied. So my assumption is that the flat, then inhabited by my brother and his Lebensgefährtin, the place having many hints and bits and pieces to my part, and also in parts to my brother's life. Him recognizing and knowing or not, I do not know. I have already said either a murky and or a kind of a opaque role he is playing. I did already the four or 3 posts addressing Dr. Lebjords, jurist and military, and if he is a kind of overseeing and commissioning it all, he has no interest in me. And upon having written so much and so forth, which is usable by jurists, by security authorities, even abroad, yeah. So a disaster to having sent that over to Russia. So no interest there, but as a jurist he will have understood that all is useless. Me having lost time again, which does not matter at all from his standpoint. All is completely useless if you take former porno stars, maybe having lived in that very flat, a goodie to follow. Using a porno star now with her sister being kind of established here as lawyers, as jurists, really, is a kind of a disaster. What do you want to send out to the world? So many people have understood it. Even yeah, I don't want to endanger here someone. Yeah, so I'm still there. I have a sound mind, and as I already told the first lawyer of mine, completely failing, upon having been pressured or not, I told him upon one of my last visits there, I can still think. Yeah, I can still think, and I have proved it. My text is not ready. All those videos are also a kind of useless, because I would present myself differently when being asked properly, and even being under oath. So I would be more precise, I would be less fast in talking. I also mentioned once in a while, I feel a kind of pressure to somehow lend my knowledge and my information somewhere, and I do it since October or so, or November of last year, meaning 2024. I'm doing it this way because typing it all is impossible. Reusing it by retyping it by former porno stars, by criminals, by persons being able to handle twin devices is a complete disaster. I mentioned it once in a while, ago. Dieses Land ist eine Vollkatastrophe. Eine totale Vollkatastrophe. You have to make sure that everything is correct and that the right people are testifying. So now the goodie, the flat. You enter the building, and my first impression was, and I uttered it and received a strange kind of a look from the Lebensgefährtin. I mentioned, I said, this is here, this smells church. Yeah, it smells church. Due to the age of the building situated in a very expensive area in Munich, and due to the very fact that much is wooden, and yeah, so I smell church, which is it is neither positive nor negative, it is neutral, it is just, yeah, I smell church. Then one steps the stairs, upstairs. Maybe the floor is also important. I would not want to spontaneously ponder about that. You open the door to the flat and you would enter left side. And in the very room left side, they had their TV and the sofa, which she would put a sofa in, yeah, reminding a chaise longue. Chase her for years if necessary, but chase her and consider her being a prey. Her meaning me. Maybe also kind of think-alikes, persons who are able to either to counter, to contest, or simply to think and to research. Simply that. Me, all is personal. Remind the streak here of just brunettes, and the idea reconstructing that there seems to be an interest to re-establish but one family, which is not mine, but our neighbor here in Erfurt. It is so completely a strange an idea, and I was not informed on that I cannot really. Albeit my father told me, play your role. What kind of role? I'm just imke. Yeah, I'm here as imke, being victimized and so on and so forth. And if you see me laugh, then consider it as a snapshot being replaceable into any apt situation or not. You enter the room on the left side. She placed the chaise longue and the TV and many bookshelves, which later one would have seen with behind the backs of a Christina Nokun. Not their shelf, yeah, but the style of a shelf. So this was the intention behind, to just upon my fate and upon me having been left in the totally unknown, uninformed, and reading as I wrote the reconstructional efforts, which is not ready yet, which is not overthought, and so on and so forth. Those likely they do not know how to produce text. They just take it as it is typed onto their screens, and I wrote it to the DFB because I thought I need a strong partner, if only assuring those very devices. So, another topic here, sending in upon a Scheißschreiben, demanding but another 2,000, knowing that I don't have it, but could have if the account with eToro would not be down totally. So, insisting on that, me giving up that account would cause a damage of it to 1,500 plus. So, upon such a Scheißschreiben, trying to regain those very laptops, I bought them from a guy in Munich, indeed. From a guy in Munich, and I would see what else he had on offer, and it well could have been the case that in one of those very sellers, during World War II days, it was usable for securing oneself. That in one of those cellars he would store nothing, and out of that a laptop of his very wife was sold. So stay with your wife, don't involve me, just give me what I deserve, which is money. Money, not in terms of here Steinmeier, worth is expressed in semen. Thank you so very much, US. I kind of filed you, and I'm going to be filed myself, which is okay. I would change topics. Also, you look similar to the very poor Yemeni guy, which happened to have fallen over the bridge in Frankfurt, which was the incentive. I found it coincidentally a message that he's dead, or he might even not be dead. But I can say, Steinmeier, if he is smiling, he has Grübchen, the Yemeni guy as well. He was a kind of a friend of mine. I did not know him long, but I think we liked each other. We did not fall for each other, but we liked each other. So that one is already placed within a row of dead people all of a sudden in the Schreiben to the Staatsanwaltschaft Frankfurt. One wonders in which tiny village they have been placed all of a sudden. So for me it is all personal. People have really already fucked up my life. What else? So it is my laptop. You have closed you, meaning I don't know who exactly, for the third time, and after a row of purchases on eBay, the account was closed. First rate was during the first days of my homelessness care home stay. The account was closed, and I already had sold 3. I think it were 3 Apple laptops. Why? Because I thought they are co-devised. I did not then twin-devised. I did not then invented that word twin-devised, but it was indeed the case that the whole apparatus, one after the other, would again convey the impression this is connected to guys in the media. Yeah, I listened to DLF during that time, and they would a kind of a company into that 4 years mess and boredom, homelessness camps stay, all in a while citing out of my texts. Yeah, it is. I think it is appalling, because I did not get any returns other than having been cited without mentioning my name, taking it for granted, as I do. Yeah, 1,000 a month existence minimum. Thank you very much. And now envisioning a tax problem due to the very fact that it was not me fucking here around and afterwards killing certain people and also there destroying evidence. That might have been others. It was not me. Since 20 years, I have not fucked anybody. Well, I hope I do since 5 years, but yeah, sexually. Yeah, this is that. So the room, if you stay straight, you would directly go to the window front, and the important, and they kind of prepared a place. They would place a large of a table in the other part of that large room, and astoundingly, it really did not make me think, but I noticed it every time. Why are there those shelves? Shelves, one side and the other side. And it was just several days ago that I had the idea, well, that would be something, yeah. Place devices onto those shelves. Let's sit there, anyone, and just collecting the Königsweg, the king's, the Königsbeweis, the king's evidence. Yeah, let's sit there, anyone, and watch them signing. Yeah. Do your signature. Do it here. Do it on this table. I mean not theirs, but do it here. Being watched from the rear. Do it. Question is, what might have taken place in that flat when I was close to finishing my Islamic study in, was it before the arson or afterwards? I think it was afterwards. That all of a sudden the light chooser would appear, and I had already started to somehow start researching on Islamic law. Indeed, I called it law, and I would cite Zweigert Kötz, not Kotz but Kötz, not OE, but yeah, the German Ö or the Turkish Ö, and is my face visible, by the way? And yeah, so the light chooser would appear and look over my shoulder, which was a kind of really weird, because how could he appear in that very moment that I was finding a kind of an interesting book again? And would start scribing here and there, yeah, writing this and that. So. As a security officer, I really would consider to remove that person out of that area and yeah, have him under watches. This light chooser. You will have understood upon also reading which guy I mean. I would not have thought that this guy would be unable to play such big a role. I think it was 2005. So what happened parallelly or coincidentally at that time in that very flat not yet thought of that my brother and his then separated later in a second go Lebensgefährtin would move into that flat prior what 2005 might have happened there. And the street that I was driving along before they would invite me here and there and give me a kind of a pleasure program, which was enjoyable. But again, the wrong company, because my brother and I, we cannot really cope with each other, and we don't really want to. I mean, I, on my part, I don't want to. I really did have the impression that that area in Munich was totally empty, as if no one was there. And this is astounding. How that? Why? I have already said it. I don't repeat it here because it is of course apt for N164, not BGB, but StGB. So those people kind of inventing a philosophy and completely thinking differently on parts of German laws, criminal, civil, and so on and so forth. I had that example of the 328 BGB on threads. You find it on YouTube. I video typed my opinions on threads. So this 164 StGB saying this, and on the other side 165 BGB saying that. I think it is but another way to access huge a crime complex, of which I'm part of, because we were made victims early on, me and my family. You would have an additional access there, and keep in mind that I always had the wrong people around, always. If they were apt in the beginning, people would come and kind of as if they were ships and fregatten, male or female, would enter them and steal them, draw them to sites for me not recognizable. The half Egyptian one is maybe one example, unless she initially had certain ideas in her mind. So, piss off, bitch. I did not give you any mandate. I did not mandate anyone, which is also written earlier on in my texts, where I would think, how did they do things? So they would marry off people without the people meant having been made part of any such a highly personal Rechtsgeschäft. Also my life co-used, I try really to get out of that mess. Voilà.